Some sort of gas is released into the ventilation system at a basketball game. Almost showing up late to your own radio show? I would say this is unrealistic, but I worked in radio and people did that all the time. Radio host Logan is paranoid about never having seen pictures of any part of the Taj Mahal other than the front, encouraging his listeners to call in and tell his show why they're paranoid. Then, men who released the mysterious gas at the basketball game are shown running. They stop for some reason not yet known to us, and one of the men has the others kill him. Logan receives several calls during his break, one of which trying to report an attack at a local arena. He chooses to take Vernon's call where they mock the man who thinks his phones are tapped. Logan doesn't listen to the next caller who tries to report the attack and hangs up on him instead. For being a conspiracy theorist, you really are not taking this kind of thing seriously. The next caller pleads with them to turn on their TV, citing that something is going down. Instead of just, hitting the power button on your TV, he just hangs up on him instead. They finally turn on the TV after receiving several more calls reporting more attacks. This should be right up your alley. The second someone says one word of an attack, you would be all over that. The show producer is more concerned about dead air than getting more information about these proposed attacks. I would say, again, that this is unrealistic, but I have worked in radio, and believe me, those in the radio industry would be way more concerned about silence going over the airwaves rather than misinformation. There seems to be only one security officer on duty at the radio building who doesn't notice the two men hiding outside and talking about needing to take injections. I mean, it's Los Angeles. It's kind of common. During a news clip, the radio show notices a dead woman jumping back up and going nuts, but the people reporting the news do not seem to notice this. This is kind of crucial. Logan refuses to switch the radio show over to the emergency broadcast, insisting that he must stay on air. A news reporter just stays on air talking and watching as the mob pulls an officer out of his car and starts attacking him in front of her. It's obvious that they're zombies, but it's going down the route of, oh, this is just the typical mob and they're doing the typical thing, but politics aside, come on, man. The same news reporter just stands there talking as a woman approaches and attacks her. You've got to have some kind of fight or flight response. The radio staff sends a guy downstairs by himself and unarmed to tell the security guard to lock the doors. The two men from earlier are able to sneak into the radio building. Really got to up your security in a Los Angeles major radio station. I've worked in radio in Dallas, Texas. I'm not surprised. The security guard goes outside to investigate a scream and stands there as he sees a woman being attacked. The guard shoots towards the vicious mob, but doesn't hit any of them, instead getting their attention drawn to him, and he just sits there to get eaten. Bert goes downstairs in an attempt to find Gil, the guy they sent downstairs earlier. Let's just send everyone to their deaths one by one. One of the men who snuck in injects himself with a syringe, telling the other man there isn't enough of whatever there is to go around, and that he'll pay for his mistake. How do you not have enough injections if you were talking about it all this time? Gil finally makes his way down to the lobby and runs outside to check on Ted, the doorman. If he hasn't come back, wouldn't you have cameras or something of that nature to check on these people, especially for a Los Angeles-based, nationally syndicated radio show? Especially when you talk about politics all the time, people are going to be about voicing their concerns. Gil just stands at the glass doors watching the mob of zombies grow and start banging at the windows before finally running back upstairs. Yeah, let's just stare and gawk at them and go, oh man, something's going on here. Being vague and saying words can't explain what you just saw instead of saying what you just saw. You want this to be a mob so bad that you can't speak clearly about, yeah, this is kind of a ravenous cannibalistic horde outside. Seeing something run past the door and going out the door to check it out. If you know something is going down, why would you put yourself in harm's way? Not locking the door after going back inside, even when you're aware that attacks are happening in the area. Sending the infected person down the elevator where they get out at a random floor of stopping them for good. Letting the infection spread in someone instead of killing them when you're one of the only people who knows what it does. You know how the zombie virus works. Why are you allowing this person to fully zombify? Also, giving the infected person your only gun? Is that really the smart thing to do? Telling a guy that he's fine after being scratched by the infected guard Tanner, even though you just had a call telling you that the infection is contagious, even through scratches. Wanting to try and drive a motorcycle to go to the area that you just heard the infection is getting bad in to check on your family. Sending someone to go through the crazies, good reference there, to check on your family by themselves. Why do this by yourself? On top of that, why would you not take any kind of weapon with you to do this? Are you just trying to become a zombie buffet? Getting in an elevator with the guy who got scratched and is now coughing. They're obviously displaying some kind of symptoms, and yet you're sitting there like, it's fine, nothing could possibly go wrong. Managing to fight the infected guy off of you and stabbing him with his mop. -1 sin. Having the foresight to take the infected guy out of the elevator. Minus yet another sin. Waiting in front of the elevator door when you know infected people could be using it. Getting stuck in the garage with the same infected guy. I guess we didn't learn our lesson. We tried to learn our lesson, but it just didn't work out. We did a complete U-turn, a 180. Not noticing the guy with a gun in the elevator. Not running away when you see a crazy infected guy heading towards you at full speed. You're just gonna stand there being completely still when you hear a mob of infected running full sprint at you. You're gonna try to drive a bus and look behind you to watch the infected people eating your passengers. Watching the bus of people get eaten as you sit on your bike instead of driving away. I don't know what it is about survivors in zombie outbreaks when they first happen, but why do they always have to sit there going, oh my God, this is truly hell on earth. Dude, run away! Do you not want to survive? Taking hostages during an outbreak. Who are you going to be taking hostages with? The police are kind of busy either becoming food or fighting becoming food. Sneaking up on someone during an outbreak and almost getting stabbed in the eye. Yelling and freaking out, which attracts the infected security guard and causes him to attack you. Watching an infected man pull a bullet back out of his head instead of running. An infected guy knows to pull a bullet out. I thought they were kind of mindless. Why would he take the time to do this? Just watching as an infected Maggie attacks and kills the guy who was holding you hostage instead of running. So let me get this straight about the virus and what it does to the person's body. The infection only lasts for 7 hours at maximum before overwhelming the body and killing its host. So would this zombie apocalypse not even be a thing? You just have to survive for a typical work day and then boom, it's the end of 28 days later suddenly? Surviving and injecting the antidote and getting home to your family only for your wife to have been scratched or infected.
Wow. 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 Wow.